Hello friends, in this video we'll discuss about update employee API. While calling update employee API, we need to pass form data along with employee ID into URL. So once we get employee ID, then first we need to check that employee exists or not. If it exists, then we need to update the existing informations with form data. Back to editor. So let's open API controller class. So I will go inside app, HTTP, controllers, API and API controller class. To work with update employee API, we need to work over this method called update employee. So as we know that while calling this method, we need to pass form data as well as employee ID into URL. So to receive form data, we need to use request object. So here I will add the first parameter value inside this method request, and this is an instance of that. Now next, I will go inside this function block and I will create an object of employee model class. So here, let's say employee object equals to new and employee model class. So instead of creating an object of employee model class, let's use directly. So I will go and remove that. So here, let's say if employee, I will use where method, let's say ID equals to employee ID from URL, and I will use exist method. It returns true when this employee ID exists inside our database. Otherwise, false value will be returned. So after getting false value, let's return response JSON format, passing an array here, status equals to false, and message, let's say no employee found. Let's go inside this if block. It means employee exists. So first we need to read all the values of that. So here, let's say employee equals to employee model class, and I will use find method. Inside this find method, I will pass employee ID. So this line of code is going to return employee object. So this is an object, and inside this object we have all the keys like name, email, phone number, gender and age. Now next, I will use this employee object to assign or update our existing values. So here let's say update existing values. So employee, this is an object. I want to access the name field, so this is arrow operator name equals to, first I will check that inside our form data if any updated name value exists or not. If it is available, then we will update the existing name value with the form data value. So here it's not empty. Request, I will use name key. So if value is available and also it is not empty, so in that case this will be the new name, otherwise the existing name. So same step I will repeat for, let's say for the email address, phone number, gender and age. So here it will be for the email. Next we have for the phone number, gender and age. So here it will be name means email, phone number, gender, age. So these lines of code basically means that this is an existing value if our form data contains the new name value and it is not empty. So in that case, this name value will be updated to this field, otherwise we'll have the existing field value. Now after doing all these lines of code, next I will use employee object and I will call save method. So automatically this line of code is going to update the existing informations. Now let's return our response. Return response JSON method, and here status equals to true, and message, let's say employee data updated successfully. Save all these changes. Now let's do a unit testing. So we need to open api.php. So go to our project setup, routes, api.php. So to call our update employee method, we need to open update employee route, and this route will hit using put request type. So here in this video we'll see one more concept, that is method spoofing. Let's go to Postman, and before that let's start development server. So PHP artisan serve, pressing enter, development server started. So I will copy this project URL, copy link, Postman. Right here inside this address bar, I will paste our project URL, and here from this drop down we need to select put request type. So here after project URL, API, and then we need to type update-employee, and also we need to pass employee ID. So I am passing update employee, and if I go inside database, go to employees table, now we can see that the employee ID available equals to 1 and 2. So in case if I pass let's say 3 here, click on send button, no employee found. Now let's change the employee ID. So employee ID from 3 to 1 value which exists. Now I will go inside body, and before that needs to go inside headers. I will type accept, and here application JSON. So inside this header we need to pass our first header value, that is accept, and application JSON. Go inside body, select form data. Now inside this key, let's say that I want to update the name and email value. So here let's say name. Next we have, if I go inside our table, so the first employee name is Rakesh. So here what I will do, let's say Rakesh Sharma. If I go to add another key, let's say email address. So let's say rakesh.sharma@gmail.com. Now we have added our updated values to these fields like name and email, and one more thing, that we are submitting this data to this API using put request type. As we know that inside web application we have only 2 available methods. By the help of that we can submit our form data to server, that is get request type and post request type. But in this case we are submitting our form data using put request type. So here comes the concept of method spoofing. So put request type is not basically available to submit any form data to server. So what we can do here, we want to submit form data. So here additionally we will add one more parameter inside this form data, and that is underscore method. Like underscore method, it's a keyword which is tell to form that we are submitting form data using put request type. Now in this underscore method key, I will pass the value put. Either it will be in lowercase or uppercase. Let's say first I will not pass this value, and I will click on this send button to this route using put request type. Now we can see here we have some error. And also the error is meaningful. We can see here that this query, like update query, is not receiving the value of this name field and email field. It's because we are submitting form data using put request type. It means server is hit, but these values are not transferring from this client side to server side. Now here comes the concept of method spoofing. We'll submit this form data to our API by using method spoofing. So let's add underscore method equals to put request type. Select here post, and also after selecting post from here, if I again unselect this underscore method, click on send button, remember we are hitting update employee API by using post request type, and this method is not allowed to hit this API. Click on send button. Now you can see the post method is not supported for route API update-employee, and it is because that this route is available only for put request type. Now here let's add underscore method equals to put. It means here the form submission method equals to post request type, but dynamically while processing form to server side we are changing from post to put request type. So this API URL will be hit using put request type along with these form data. So let's click on send button, and again we are getting some error. And if we see the error, then we can see that inside this update query we are getting the value of this name field, email field, but we are not able to access the value of phone number, age and gender. So let's go to editor to check our mistake. So here, this is all about the name key value from this employee object. If the request body parameter contains the name field, so this will be the value, otherwise the existing value. And I think that here, the existing value we can access using employee object. So instead of writing request object, we need to use employee object. So successfully, now we have updated all these keys. Go back to Postman. Everything is okay. Let's click on send button. Now we can see employee data updated successfully. If I go to table, click on browse. Now we can see that our name and email value successfully now updated. But wait for a second, here I think that the phone number value is not coming. Let's go to editor, and for this phone number, request data, and I think that here object actually replaced. So the first value will be request and the second will be the employee object. What we can do here, let's separate all these values into different lines. Now let's save these changes. So what we can do here, let's go and run for this second number employee. I will go inside URL, employee ID 2. This is the name value. Email value. And already this employee has a phone number. It means all these values like phone number, age and gender as it is. So if I go and click on send button, employee updated. Now let's go and refresh. Now we can see only the name value and email value updated. So successfully, here comes the concept of method spoofing. It means dynamically we are updating the request method type from post to put request type, and this is by adding an extra parameter called _method. So successfully, by the help of this video, now we have created one more API, and that is update employee. Let's go to our checklist. So here this is all about the development plans of first phase. So everything is done. If you're talking about add employee, it's done. For list employee, it is also done. Single employee done. And from this video we had seen the concept of update employee. So also it's done. Now in the next video we'll see the concept of delete employee API. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching and have a great day.